Okay, so the psalm is Psalm 63, a psalm of David.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
O God, you are my God, whom I seek. For you my flesh pines and my soul thirsts, like the earth, parched, lifeless, and without water.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
Thus have I gazed towards you in the sanctuary, to see your power and your glory. For your kindness is a greater good than life. My lips shall glorify you.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
Thus will I bless you while I live. Lifting up my hands, I will call upon your name. As the riches of a banquet shall my soul be satisfied, and with
Exalted.
exultant lips my mouth shall praise you.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
You are my help, and in the shadow of your wings I shout for joy. My soul clings fast to you, your right hand upholds me.
My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God. So yeah, this is a psalm of David, and that's when he was in the wilderness. And talking about Arizona, you know, the desert of Arizona, it's dry, barren. There's no water available. You can't see water anywhere. And so imagine this is where David was, and you get to know real thirst. I mean, they didn't have canteens, water bottles, and all that stuff. I mean, they would travel typically when it's dark, because it's when it's 115 or 20, you really don't want to be moving around too much. So I guess part of it, does our soul thirst for God so deeply, more than everything else in our life? I mean, these are questions. When I read this, my soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God. And I think, is my soul thirsting for you, O Lord my God? I mean, each one of us has to ask this question of ourselves, because we should be able to pray, my soul is thirsting for you, O Lord my God.
Well, that's why we're here.
You're here exactly because you want your soul fed. And St. Augustine said, my soul is restless until it rests in you. Right? I mean, it is restless. We don't, nothing else satisfies that hollowness. I mean, doesn't matter. You can fill it with possessions, glory, fame, wealth, women, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Nothing will satisfy. Nothing satisfies but God. And I think the wisest man of all time, Solomon, he realized that. And so, I mean, it went from the Song of Solomon, the Song of Songs, to Ecclesiastes, where he said all that was vanity of vanities. It meant nothing. And so I think we have to have this desire in our own heart and our soul. For you, my flesh pines and my soul thirsts, like the earth parched, lifeless, and without water. So we're actually, I mean, without, everything's dead. If there's not water, what is there? You might get a cactus here or there, right? I mean, but really it's lifeless. When you go and if you look at a desert, or, it's just the outcroppings of rocks, you see very little vegetation, and it's pretty much dead and lifeless. And so also without God feeding us, through his word, I mean, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the sacrament, we're kind of the same way. And we're coming up to the feast of St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Her picture's on the wall there. You gotta have it so we can all see it, right? Mama, Mother Teresa. But she had a life where she was in complete, there's spiritual dryness, where there's not much consolations. We talked about this in the Fulfillment of All Desires, but there may be a time in your life where you really don't feel God's presence. She had like this supernatural experience, and then for 50 years she was in darkness, where she didn't have the feel, there was no like feelings and consolation. She was just obedient. And I think that's, that's wonderful. That takes, think of the character that takes. I have gazed toward you in the sanctuary to see your power and your glory. For your kindness is greater good than life. My lips shall glorify you. So God is the highest good. And God always should be the deepest desire of our heart. It says here, I will bless you while I live. I will lift up my hands. So the ancient prayers, they would lift up their hands, right? Now we call it charismatics, but that was an ancient form of praying. They would lift up their hands. And actually, people, a lot of people say, well, you Catholics do calisthenics, you kneel, sit, stand, pray, this, that, all these movements. But God gave us physical bodies, and we're called to worship with our bodies, worship with song. I mean, all of us is giving worship and praise to God, right? And we worship as we worship as we believe, which, we know it's the true presence of Christ, so we're reverent because we know that's God, body, blood, soul, and divinity in that tabernacle. And so that's why we're reverent. That's why we genuflect. That's why we're aware. When you go into the church and you see that red light, God is present, right? And you have that candle up there, he's present. And if you're in a modern church, look for the red candle, that's where Jesus is. And so that's where you genuflect. And I make a big point of that too. When I'm in, some places where they're more like a different setting, you always look for the candle. Where is Jesus? That's the first question I always ask. Where is Jesus? And we're reverent because we know this is his place. He's present, body, blood, soul, and divinity. And so that St. Thomas Aquinas said, we worship as we believe. If you just walk in there and it's like, if you're not worshiping in a manner that's reverent, then you might want to examine, what do I really believe? And I was really struck, actually, it was Missionaries of Charity. It was on a Good Friday, and every one of them was face down in the middle of the aisle where everybody walks, during the Good Friday ceremony, just in worship of God.
The whole time?
For quite a long period of time. And so it was pretty moving, just because it was genuine, authentic worship. They just were compelled. And
at 72, he made get down on both knees.
right, because
I couldn't get on both knees.
he knows. And that's the problem with being, for example, being a priest is that you can take things for granted. Same thing in any relationship. You don't ever want to take your spouse or for granted, right? Because you're used to them and you take things, okay, they do this, that, you never want to do that. We don't want to take Jesus for granted, body, blood, soul, and divinity. This may be the last time. So the priest's prayer is, let this be like my first time, my only time, and my last time. And we should be approaching our Lord because it could be our last time. We don't know if we're going to have the opportunity to receive again. And that changes things. You are my help, and in the shadow of your wings I shout for joy. My soul clings fast to you. Your right hand upholds me. So I remember what God has already done for me. I think that's important. All throughout the Old Testament, they talk about, he got us through, the Red Sea. He saved us from slavery. And they go over it again and again and again and again. We want to remember the good things God has done for us. I remember the things that happened. They're burned into my head. God knew I needed some strong stuff because I'm so hard-headed. And I remember that. When times are low, I remember the things that God has done for me. And that gets me through times when they're difficult.
No.
Yeah, don't put your finger in the slot.
It'll be a movie.
I remember when I was a kid, I took a knife and that explains a lot, doesn't it? Oh boy. Well, we'll end with that.
I think somebody else is